Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Psyched to be with you. Episode 9. I had to think about it. It's not really that hard because there's one a month, so it shouldn't be an actual task. But there it is. Today, got another fantastic extra special guest lined up for you. I'm very excited about this one. This is something that we've not really had on the podcast before, so I'm very excited to break that new ground today. This is yet another in the series of someone I met at PAX, because that's how the show sort of seems to roll. But yeah, hopefully you will enjoy this one as much as I know I will if I can get my teeth in. All that remains for me to do is say, my special guest, if you could please introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Michael. I go by Smirky on socials and stuff like that. I'm a content creator, live streamer. I've been streaming for about 10 years. I also have been partnered on Twitch for the past 4 years. I am a LGBTQIA plus variety streamer. I also do a bunch of like charity work. So in terms of games I stream, I started out by streaming a game called Toontown, which used to be like this old school like Disney MMO from like way back in the day. A lot of people, I'm surprised at how many people like actually remember this game. When I tell them like, the golden question, like, what do you stream or what do you do? Like that's usually what happens. People remember it. So I've focused on that for a long time, and now I'm branching out into variety. We focus on like multiplayer interactive things, but I'll also dabble in some single player experiences as long as there's some kind of interactivity going on with our community. And then on the charity side of things, we've fundraised for a lot of organizations like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Extra Life, the Trevor Project. The list goes on. We've fundraised over $65,000 for different charities over the years, which is really cool as well. So that's a little bit about me on the content creation side. And then on the personal side, the Michael side, I just graduated college in December 2021 with my Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies and a minor in music and a certificate in digital media studies as well. So, and I'm originally from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas, but just last month I moved out to Las Vegas, and now I'm with a lot of my good friends who I've known for years, which is really cool to kind of like live with them. So that's a bit of insight on me. That's my intro.
That was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot to digest, to savor the flavor of there.
Absolutely.
So I think for the benefit of anyone who's listening, let's break down a little bit of like what that, because I've had this question before. I stream a little bit by comparison to someone like yourself, but like can you define what Twitch is for us? Because that is a question I've been asked before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of people these days are starting to like see Twitch as like branding. Like the other day, like I was driving past the big like Allegiant Stadium where the Las Vegas Raiders play, football here in the States, and there was an ad on their big LED board for Twitch. So it's over the recent years been trying to become more mainstream. But what is Twitch? It's essentially like a live streaming service. So people from anywhere, really, any backgrounds, can start up a channel. They can just broadcast in real time to a live audience, doing whatever it is they do. It started out predominantly as Justin.tv, I think around the 2011 timeframe, and I could be wrong there, but it started out predominantly as like a gaming, platform. And to this day, I would say that Twitch is known primarily for its gaming, but there's a lot of other creators out there too. I have friends who are in the creative space, musicians, artists, people who just chat, people who share their travels in real life, IRL, live streaming, like in real time. So that way people can like be part of the adventure. There's just so many different things now that like Twitch encompasses, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, it became, I think around the 2012, because that's when I created my Twitch account. That's probably, I think, when Twitch was really starting off. And then I think it was around 2014. I remember when at first there was rumors of like Google taking, acquiring Twitch, but instead it ended up being Amazon. So now Twitch is an Amazon subsidiary. So all of us know about Amazon, so they have like integrations with Twitch there. Um, and the platform has just continued to grow ever since. There's, millions upon millions of people that are, using the platform, that, do a live stream every single month. The numbers just continue to grow on a platform like Twitch. And it's pretty incredible to watch how the platform has evolved over time. So I know that was kind of a tangent as to what Twitch is, but that's a little bit of insight into that.
Very, very insightful. I mean, the best I kind of get to is like it's like watching a video on YouTube but live. Um,
Basically,
and like a lot of
yeah.
people, you can kind of see them go, oh, okay, I kind of get that. And there's a bit more to it than that. To be fair, that's a very reductivist
Oh,
kind of view.
absolutely. There's so much that goes into Twitch, that goes into the whole world of content creation that a lot of people don't even realize. And as I think it's continued to grow and more people get into content creation, someone like me who's young growing into it, like it definitely, there's just, it's such fast paced. Like there's always something going on. Like literally as we're sitting here, there's probably thousands upon thousands of people live streaming like on platforms like Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook. Like there's all kinds of different platforms out there too. So like I originally started streaming on YouTube when I started my content creation journey before live streaming on YouTube was cool. And then I think I like actually started streaming on Twitch around like late 2015, 2016-ish. But I had been using Twitch for over 10 years now. So as like a user browsing, watching people's live streams, stuff like that.
I feel like that is one of like the most natural kind of progressions that I ever hear of. It's what happened to me. It's what happened to like a bunch of other people, and that you end up watching it maybe because like you found someone on YouTube, or and oh yeah, like I stream, come catch it live, and then you turn up, and then like you're in chat, and then everyone like makes friends, and then I feel like generally speaking, a lot of content creators are like, yeah, like give it a go if you want, like like why not give it a go, see
Yeah.
if it's for you. And then that's how I started. I was definitely part of that, for lack of a better phrase, like that COVID cohort. Like a lot of people picked up
Yeah,
streaming through the pandemic, right? Um,
absolutely.
out of interest, given someone who was using it way before then, how big of a shift did you see the pandemic have on Twitch? And do you think? Because I feel like I saw that crest fall like within like where are we now? 2022. The last sort of 6 to 8 months, maybe. I've seen it kind of tail off again.
Sure. Yeah. I've definitely seen like a lot more people get into it. I've heard lots of stories of like some of the newer like people who get affiliated and partnered on Twitch, how they had just started around the time, the pandemic hit and a lot of people were quarantined into their homes. So I know definitely streaming was on the rise. I think it was around the time of the pandemic that like my at the time in Dallas local TV station, local NBC news station had done a story on uh, what I've done with some of my charity work. They featured me on like their live broadcasts and stuff, which was really cool. So it was like, there were all these stories popping up of like people, streaming, like people honing in their gaming skills and things like that, as, people, playing Animal Crossing like religiously, like talking about it nonstop. So gaming definitely, from what I saw at least, saw an increase when the pandemic hit. And I do also understand the whole tailing off side of it too, because, of how attitudes have shifted and how, the pandemic has played out as it, is, continuing to play out. Um, it certainly is interesting to see how like people have like, you know, um, how the numbers have fluctuated, I guess, in terms of like how many hours are being watched, things like that. Um, for all the different like platforms out there too. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, no, it is interesting to kind of like observe how things have shifted, both when the pandemic hit and looking at today and how things are, shifting as these platforms are like trying to, push out all these ads and stuff like that to like, you know, I guess, continue to be more mainstream, trying to continue to ride off of the increase of the pandemic.
So this is probably going to be the most obvious question. I am aware of that there
Yeah.
are some things that you can't say, But what is being a Twitch partner like? Like, what is that? Because for those that don't know,
Yeah.
there's the 3-tier system of
Yep.
streamer slash viewer, affiliate, and then partner, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I can even like shed insight on like how it was beforehand when I was first on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch these days, you'll notice a lot of people have like the subscription button under their channel, which is like a paid monthly subscription that you can pay for to get extra benefits on the channel, like emotes, like a little badge next to your name. You can have ad-free viewing depending on the circumstances of that channel. But back when I was first on Twitch, the sub button was a hot commodity. It was very elusive. It was very rare. And in order to be a Twitch partner, what was listed on the website was you had to have like 500 average viewers, and things like that, like really high numbers. That wasn't always the truth though. I knew friends around the 2016, 2017 era who got partnered with, I would say like over 100 concurrent viewers, even though that was still listed on the website. Um, but at first it was just you're either a viewer, a broadcaster, or you end up working your way up to partner. But in 2017, Twitch announced the affiliate program, which was kind of like a stepping stone in between, just being a broadcaster and being a partner. Now you have the affiliate program. I became an affiliate when the program launched, as I was at the time not partnered. I had been working to it. I ended up, before I got partnered, applying like 10 different times. And you'll hear a lot of stories like of people who apply like a dozen plus times before they actually like get accepted into the partner program. But the affiliate program was kind of meant to like build the bridge a little bit. Granted, the, I guess it's a little subjective, but the requirements are very on the low end of things, having like 3 average viewers, 50 followers, things like that. But then they had adjusted the partner program requirements too with the new achievement system that they put out, because they have achievements for path to affiliate and path to partner. So path to partner is 75 average viewers in the last 30 days, I think, as well as 12 unique broadcasts and 25 hours watched, all within a 30-day period. If you check off all those boxes, you're able to apply to the Twitch partner program. It's not guaranteed that you'll get into the partner program, because at first, like I remember like Tim the Tap Man, like really well-known streamer who's on YouTube now, but he was on Twitch at the time. He rated me. So suddenly all 3 of those boxes were immediately checked off and my statistics are like very inflated. But so obviously they want to see consistency, so they didn't accept that application. Eventually I worked my way up to having a consistent audience when I applied, which is good. So basically some of the differences though of like the actual like programs, right? So if you're accepted into the affiliate program, you get those achievements checked off, you get the invite, you'll get your subscription button, which only used to be for Twitch partners back in the day. You also get access to receiving bits. And the way that bits work, it's like, I guess, kind of like a digital currency of sorts on Twitch, which is essentially every bit that is cheered in your chat is equivalent to a penny. So at least I know I'm talking from US currency standards, but if if you get 1 bit, that's 1 penny, 100 bits is $1. You do the math, 1,000 bits is $10, things like that. And whenever you purchase bits through the little store that they have in site, Twitch takes a cut of the purchase, but whenever you're actually using bits, 100% of the bits goes to the creator. So that's kind of how that works. And then subscriptions, of course, again, monthly subscription, you have different tiers now. So it used to be just the $4.99 a month, but you can also do $9.99 a month or $24.99 a month. At least, again, those are the numbers in the US. So if you're in a different country, it might differ. But
I mean, if I remember
those are,
rightly, regional
mhm.
pricing only came in like last year. It's still regional
Yeah,
pricing, still quite new.
it is quite new. So yeah, those are the, you're definitely right there, but those are still the prices that I look at. And then also because Twitch is an Amazon subsidiary, if you have like Prime, you can get like a free sub that you it's like 1 30-day free sub that you can use on any channel of your choice. It costs you absolutely nothing extra, and it is the same value as the tier 1 sub, $4.99 a month. And that's essentially what you get as an affiliate: subs, bits, You now I think get some emotes, which wasn't how it was originally when I was part of the affiliate program, because they definitely like changed it and incentivized it a bit more. Um, and then there's probably a few other benefits I'm forgetting, but in terms of like how many affiliates there are so many affiliates on Twitch now. It's if there's someone who's been streaming for a while, they're probably going to be an affiliate. Just because there's so many. I can't remember what the number was when I last checked, but it was very exponential compared to the partner program. And the partner program is essentially like the step up. You get accepted into the partner program, and I believe it's kind of like the top percentage of creators on Twitch. I mean, at least that's the idea. So I believe we've come up to somewhere over 50,000, maybe over 60,000 partners as of this broadcast. When I joined the partner program, we were around 35,000 partners. And that was about, I want to say like 0.01 or something percent of the creators on Twitch that were part of the partner program. The partner program is primarily going to consist of creators who like have worked up to that point. But you may also have some exceptions, like maybe it's an esports organization or an esports player, and they worked with that organization to work with Twitch to get partnership. Things like that are also, they are part of the partner program, but they kind of did it that way. But yes, overall though, like the partner program consists of like some of the, I guess, top creators on Twitch. And when you are a partner, you get to have more emotes. You get a little verified check mark next to your name. So it kind of like is part of the authenticity side of things. As a partner, your channel gets verified. Um, and let's see, you get like custom cheer modes, you get just a lot more. There's a lot more like leverage with the partner program. It's not like a lot of people like have a misconception about it being like the end all be all, like you've made it once you're a Twitch partner. But honestly, it's just part of the like path. It's like a stepping stone, because I did the mistake of doing like, all right guys, we're going to push for partnership, let's do this. All right, we're going to reach for the stars, right? And then we got it and we reached for the stars, and then like, there's nothing else to attain as it appears. So things start like declining and your viewership goes down, and there's a lot of current partners who will talk about that. But honestly, like you know for me, I've enjoyed the highs and the lows, and I've had a really great journey as a partner for it's crazy to think that it's been 4 years, because for me, Twitch partnership happened about a month or so. Yeah, it was a month after I graduated high school. I'm a very young content creator, very young Twitch partner still. I mean, I'm very young, which a lot of the content creators that I tend to see on Twitch that like end up getting partnership these days, um, I would say that they're older. I'm not saying that I haven't seen young creators get partner, because I definitely have. But I mean, if we were to like look at demographics, I'd be a betting man, not just because I live in Vegas, but I'd be a betting man that a lot of the people are like in the higher age ranges versus like my age range. Um, and it's kind of weird because like I'm very young, so there's still a lot to learn even after like a decade of like streaming total. And like I think if we want to get technical with how long I've actually streamed on Twitch, probably like 6 or 7 years. But again, I've been a user on the platform for a long time, so I've seen a lot of changes. If you ask me a question about Twitch, I probably know the answer to it and probably know way too many details, which is probably apparent in these tangents. So um, that's a little insight though into the I guess differences between like just being a broadcaster, just starting out, building your community, making it to the Twitch affiliate program, continuing to build off, and then making it to Twitch partnership. There is also the Twitch ambassador program, but I think that started around 2018, 2019. And that kind of encompasses like a variety of Twitch partners, because I believe you have to be a partner to end up becoming an ambassador on Twitch. And that's like a recent program they introduced, but at the moment it's pretty elusive. There's only a very small handful of the tens of thousands of partners that are actually part of that program. I'm not one of them, but there are quite a few people that I know that are in that program.
I think it's weird because I'm very almost like very detached from Twitch. Really, like I do it for
Sure.
fun. I treat it as like a second job, but it's mostly a lark. Um, and like I
Yeah.
think I see a lot of people who maybe get lost in that space between partner and affiliate because the affiliates like
Yeah.
3 concurrent viewers, 75. When
Yeah.
not to get like too technical, but when you have market saturation of lots of people streaming at the same level, there is only a certain number of viewership that is can be distributed between those, particularly when you have your big high view channels, like events and stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like I know plenty of people who are like, it'd be nice if there was something in between, or like another stepping stone, or like a lot of people. I feel like I see a lot of creators who are very focused on, well, how do I get more views? How do I get more eyes on my content? Um, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's a really interesting, especially when you compare that with like, well, there is this secret door that even partners are trying to get behind. There's this next level to try and get to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm absolutely aspiring to like someday be an ambassador, but I mean even then like there's I think not known to a lot of people because they don't visit the page there. So you know about like Twitch teams, like you can be part of a team of like different creators. There's like a special team page just for ambassadors, so you can view all the Twitch ambassadors. You can categorize it by year to see what year certain creators like actually became a Twitch ambassador, and then at the very bottom of the page there's like an interest form that you can fill out. So if you want to be a Twitch ambassador. But if you're not a Twitch partner, don't fill out the form because one of the questions asks if you're a Twitch partner because it's one of the, I guess, requirements in order to get invited to the ambassador program. So I guess the interest form is kind of like an application, but I'm pretty sure there have been some ambassadors that have not even known about the form that end up getting invited by Twitch anyway. But it's a good way to like let Twitch know like, hey, this would be something I would genuinely be interested in. But yeah, that program is still very much in development. I think it actually started with TwitchCon. They had like TwitchCon ambassadors like for the show where they like, you know, gave them meet and greets. They got like, special events they got to be a part of, special promotions. And then they eventually were like, all right, let's do like a Twitch ambassador program. So they brought in different partners, and they've just kind of grown it ever since, slowly but surely. I've ended up like, one of the recent events I went to was the Game Awards, like 2021, in Los Angeles. I got an invite to it after like going. It was kind of a weird way. Like I got invited as a fan because I like Jeff Keighley hosted a bunch of Zoom calls and we got to like interact with him. And he decided that year to invite all the people who went to his Zoom calls.
Nice.
So that's how I snuck in an invite. It wasn't like Twitch being like, "Hey, you want to go?" Because what they did was, when I was there was a whole group of Twitch ambassadors that were there, and a couple of the Twitch staff that were also like monitoring them because they had invited them. So from what I gather from the ambassador program, like there are like additional like I guess benefits at some point. So like your little check mark badge that you get for being verified, in the chat, it changes to like a ambassador specific color. So like it separates itself just from the Twitch partner check mark. And then yeah, they get to do things sometimes like they get to travel, they get promotional opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen a lot of ambassadors like get brand deals by the looks of it. Like they get to interact with different brands, which is really cool. And yeah, it's been very interesting to kind of see how that program continues to develop over time. It's something I don't know. I've been watching closely just out of straight curiosity, also of course of interest. But it's really cool to kind of like see how that program grows. And it is like this stepping stone. It is like that secret door. Like you don't really know how to get into it, but if you turn the right corners, then it's there. And of course you can turn the corner to where you can express your interest, but there has to be a response to that on Twitch's end to actually bring you into the program. So yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of Twitch partners out there that you could argue are already ambassadors for the platform because as a partner, you're already one of the like role models within the Twitch community. So at least that's kind of like, I guess, the standard that comes behind partnership. There are certainly standards within the partner program too. Yeah, I don't know. I could talk about all these different things for hours,
It's
but
fine.
then we'd be here for way too long.
I'm really curious then, because how did you find managing doing your degree while being
Wow.
like a Twitch person? Like, how did you manage that? Because you know that to me kind of blows my mind to a
Yeah,
level of like managing both of those careers that obviously
yeah.
seem in some way linked, but like Twitch isn't going to help you get your coursework done, you know?
Right. No, I didn't know. I yeah, that is the golden age, like $1 million question for me. Like, balancing like something like school and streaming. And it's been that way literally up until I graduated in December. My entire streaming career from start until December 2021 has been while balancing school. I mean, because like thinking back, there's laws in place that prevent you from creating Twitch or YouTube accounts until you turn 13. The COPA laws, I think, and like the childhood protection, you know, laws and stuff like that that are in place. And so I didn't really like get into it until I was 13. And at that point, I think I was in like middle school. So I have been, and it started out just for fun too. So like, I mean, I wasn't trying to be like the next like number one Twitch streamer at the time or YouTube streamer, I guess. But I was definitely having fun with it. Just enjoying my time, like, you know, doing a stream every now and then when I wasn't busy, or, so if I didn't have homework for the day, I'd just fire up a stream or work on a video or something like that. Um, and eventually, going into high school and eventually like college, definitely was more consistent about like having a planner, so I could block out time, because I did the thing that people tell you not to do, which is to get too involved, at college. That's what I did. I did all the orgs. I did all the executive leader positions. I did all the things, kept myself busy outside of streaming, and somehow every now and then I ended up getting to stream. But there were times where I had to like put streaming aside because my number one focus at that time, I am a full-time student. I am trying to get a degree. That is why I am here. So I was focused on that.
What, Michael? Come
Um,
on, that's way too
and
sensible. What's going on here? This sensible attitude, like mature adulting. What's this? Come on.
yeah, Twitch streamer being like mature, that's crazy. Wow, what a concept. Yeah, no. I did graduate with like top honors, I guess, is what it is. Like they have like Latin honors on your undergraduate degrees that you can get. Um, so I did work very hard for my degree, but at the same time, like if I was not busy in the summer, if I wasn't at work, if I wasn't at a meeting, like I would, you know, do things like watching other people stream. I would do my own streams, do charity streams. I mean, just it's I don't know. I feel like it's a very, very long and convoluted answer in terms of like how I found a balance. But my answer is that like there's not like a perfect balance between like school and like streaming and stuff. There are times where you're gonna have to like set something aside in order to like, I don't know, do what you want. Like, for example, if I want to stream on this day, okay, I need to get all my assignments done for all these days. So
Yeah.
I I often did work ahead,
So
especially
time
like
time
when
management, I believe they call that in the professional world. Yeah.
that is what they call that, time management. Very, very key, very important. It was good to like stick to a little routine for sure. um it's just it's so imperative if you're, because I mean I recently watched a streamer who's about to go to college and I'm like, yeah, time management is like absolutely like the number one key in order to like be able to continue like streaming while you're going after a degree, going after a program. And there are streamers out there who are affiliates and partners who have undergraduate degrees like me. They have master's degrees. I know someone who has a PhD. I know someone who teaches college and somehow also streams full time, which I don't know how they do it, but they do. Um, it's interesting how there's just so many different people out there who are on platforms like Twitch, YouTube, etc., who are still able to like devote time into content creation. Time management works differently for everyone.
Mm.
So, I mean, what works for someone might not work for you. Um, you kind of have to find your own unique rhythm to it. And when it comes to content creation, like at the end of the day, like unless you're like teaming up with someone or you're part of an organization, like you are your own CEO. So you kind of make the calls and make the shots in terms of how your schedule is going to look for the week, for the month. You know, if you're going to have a schedule. There were times where I didn't have a schedule and I just streamed whenever when I was in college. But um, nowadays I'm actually like following I'm experimenting with new schedules now that I'm here in Vegas and like school's done, and I'm looking forward to a great future of my content creation journey for sure. I don't know. I feel like I'm going one direction then the next
It's
direction with
fine. I
all
love
these
to see it.
answers.
I'm conscious of what because what I don't want this to turn into like Michael, tell us how to. I kind of want to avoid that if we can, but I do have two more questions that I'd really like
No,
to
yeah,
sort of
absolutely.
probe. The first
Sure.
one is say you are listening to this, or I'm going to use myself an example. Like, what would the cliche question of what would your number one sort of piece of advice be to help someone kind of develop? Because I think the big thing for me is it's not work harder, work smarter. And I think you kind of have to like
Right.
pick the moves you make. Again, for me, it is just like
Hmm.
it's a second job. It's very much I do it once a week. It's supplementary
Yeah.
to what I do, but I
Yeah.
think like the like getting people to turn up and then stay is kind of the challenge. But like that's like have throwing a party, right? People will turn up for an hour because it's polite and then they'll leave. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had my fair share of people who come and go, and that's life. Everyone's got a life, you know. I have a life. I'm a streamer, but I have a life, I promise.
what? That's not allowed. You're here for my entertainment only. What's this?
Right? So yeah, no. I mean, really like because when I started out, like it was like to have fun, just to like share my experiences with other people in real time. That was kind of like my purpose at the time. And, whenever I defined my purpose, whenever I defined my niche, and I was, being myself, being how I wanted to, um, I guess, express myself on a live, broadcast, like people kind of eventually just gravitated towards that. I mean, uh, there's no like like if there was a golden answer, like
Yeah, right,
I
right.
would like everyone would be saying the same thing,
Yeah.
right? You do get the little cliche answers like, oh, just be yourself, just do it, like that's all it takes. And like on one hand, sure, it is that simple. You just have to do it. You just have to express yourself how you want to for your community. There's like so many different ways that you can express yourself on Twitch and various different ways that people make it work. Um, but I don't know. I feel like, because you hear that advice so often that it's like, okay, I've heard it for like 1,000 times. So like, you know, what other advice is like worthwhile, right? Um, I think, again, one thing I always did was like watching other people see, taking the time to like, I guess kind of like research how they did it. Not like I was doing it for a project or anything, but it was like just like sitting down and like interacting with a community of people. You kind of become a part of their community in a sense. There are other streamers whose communities I love, dropping into. Like, yes, I'm a broadcaster, but also like I'm a viewer and a community member, just like everyone else. Like we're all in the same field here. We're
Well,
all in the same playing field.
you kind of hit onto my next sort of question, which was, does
Yeah.
the stuff that you watch differ from what you play? Because I think when I was like pushing for affiliate, I guess if you want to sort of say it in that way,
Yeah,
like
sure.
I was watching a lot more Twitch, so I was in chat, and I'd almost say I was networking. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what
Sure.
I mean? Like, and
I mean,
you're
I
putting your
get
name in
that.
chat. Whereas now,
Yeah.
because PhD problems, I physically have to like I love chatting in chat, whether I'm watching or whatever. So I have to like just not allow myself to. I'm like a serial lurker, like just because if I'm in
Yeah.
chat, I will do nothing else except be in chat and just be part of that thing. So yeah,
I
does
mean,
like what you watch differ from what you do?
I would say absolutely. Like 99% of the stuff that I watch. I mean, certainly I watch other people who stream the same stuff that I do, like Toontown. I always keep my eyes on that directory, even if like only one or two people are streaming. I always like to see, who's there. If it's a new face, say hi, do things like that. But also, there's a lot of creators out there who are like, I don't know, they stream all kinds of different games. There are people who have a chaotic, like sarcastic culture. There are people who have like a really hype, everything's hype all the time culture. Um, and me, I'm just kind of like, nice, chill, comfy vibes for the most part. We like to have, insightful discussions every now and then. Sometimes moments do get pretty hype, but like, I tend to keep things pretty chill. And hey, it works. So I would say that a lot of the creators that I follow, they do a variety of different things. They have a variety of different, cultures within their communities. Um, and it's just good to like honestly sit down and kind of see these different facets of Twitch or YouTube or whatever platform you're like watching these live streams on. Cause like there's so many different kinds of creators that are doing so many different things, even as we're like sitting here chatting right now. And it does boggle the mind when you really think about it that way. So there's like multiple different avenues that you could go. But I just think if you're not being like authentic with how you present yourself, like, I mean, it's one thing to like, I'll backtrack a little bit just because in a sense, like for most of my streaming career, I've been a persona, like, the name Smirky. It's obviously not my legal name. My Toontown character was my avatar and my brand presence for a while. I'm changing it more to be me as a person, but it still plays a part in it. So like there's certainly that side of it. Like we're performing as like this is my communications degree coming out, so you'll have to forgive me.
No, that's
But we're
fine.
all like performing as our like personas, our
I
aliases.
mean,
Like
you're
it's
saying
not
this
like
to a
my
guy with two
true.
psychology
Yeah,
degrees, so
there you go. But yeah, yeah, but it's like we're all performing as like these personas or whatever. Like I would say that like how I act and perform on camera um differs in a sense with how I perform off camera. Like I'm definitely like family friendly, brand friendly. At least that's the focus on my channel and my content. um I'm not saying I like swear every 5 seconds when I'm off camera because I don't, but I will, I guess, open that door just a little bit more. Not like try to limit myself that way. So
see, it's funny you say
there
that
the,
because like like I know people in the community who like have kids, so the actual content. I might play like a game that
mhm,
is a little bit. I played like Death Stranding, for example, like has swearing in
yeah,
and stuff, but I'm not like effing and jeffing constantly on stream. Off stream, I
right.
swear like an absolute like trucker, you would say in America. I have a real potty mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So in a sense, there is like a sense of like performance that goes on with a good chunk of the Twitch channels that you see, but behind it there is like authenticity. Like there is like, like I am presenting myself how I want to present myself. Like, and there are people who express their true selves on Twitch, and that is something that I always strive with our community. Like you can come into our community, you can talk about anything that's on your mind, and it's like a positive space to do so, but also not like toxic positivity to where like it's like a little overboard. I feel like maybe when I started out in my Twitch career or my streaming career as a whole, like I if I looked back, wouldn't I wouldn't disagree if someone said like there's a sense of like toxic positivity here, because I was like young, so like positive to
I
such an
mean, life
extent, to
has a way,
such a
like
degree.
of taking that out of you, doesn't it?
It does. I've certainly gone through my own trials and tribulations, but I do try to I'm doing my best to take the positive take the positivity and put it in a more authentic light, combining both here, where like it's like yeah, we can smile and laugh and have a good time, but also if something serious is going on, or someone's feeling down, it's okay to talk about that and have those discussions. And I know that I've had feedback from my community where they certainly appreciate those conversations too. So um I guess that's just from my standpoint, at least from my own experiences. But again, there are just so many like different environments on Twitch if you hop from one channel to another. I mean, not all channels are created equal, right? Especially if you're hopping between different directories, like even Toontown. Like I'm known as like the brand friendly, happy go lucky, let's go do a boss fight. And then there's like the next person over is like, yeah, just like saying all these like all the satire, all these sarcastic, mature remarks, and I couldn't do that on my streams, but they can do that on their streams and it works. So literally one of my roommates here is a Twitch partner who also streams Toontown, and his channel environment's probably a bit different than my channel environment. I would say so. So
There's definitely
yeah, but
a lot of room for nuance. That's kind of the joy of it.
mhm,
I think like from my side of things, like with an emphasis on like mental health, like there are
mhm,
some red flags, some things you've got to watch for. I was very lucky in that like
absolutely.
people like anxiety exist, and like I
Yes,
was
I
kind
love her.
enough for me to be like, so I'm thinking of starting this kind of thing. What would you advise? And she sent me some very heartfelt advice, which I took. Um,
Yes.
but like like even in like the mental health space, like you see people like having like group support sessions. It's like
Yeah,
really
it's
close to therapy, which is like really close to being unethical.
yeah, it's actually a little ironic that you bring that up because starting today until like early November, I'm doing like weekly group sessions with the Healthy Gamer GG side of things. Because they in the past they partnered with Twitch to offer free individual coaching for Twitch partners. Like this was a thing that happened like 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't even know if they still offer it. They might, but I'm not. It's been a while since I've like tapped into their services a little bit, but they asked me to be part of a little group coaching. I don't know if it's coaching. It's like a group session thing with a few other creators. So that's something I'm looking forward to, like being a part of and seeing how that goes. Because yeah, it's not supposed to be like a supplement or replacement for like actual mental health services, but it
I'm
definitely
not
gets
dunking on
the
like
gears turning.
community, but like I see a lot of things that make me feel anxious. Where like it's very close
Sure.
to people attempting to give professional advice or very close to professional advice, and that's where I feel a
Yeah.
bit icky. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I think like
Absolutely.
that type of thing. I think is a for lack of a better term, like a syndrome of like toxic positivity. So people went, right, well, I can't just be super positive, so I'm going to try and help people, which is not a thing you should do
Yeah.
without the proper licensure or certification.
Sure. Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, like I can like if anyone has a question about like streaming, I can certainly answer it, but I'm not like the guru. I'm not like, I, if someone has a question about mental health, like streamers are not like therapists. Like
exactly.
there's so many instances where content creators and streamers will like fall into that situation where it's like I guess like someone sees you as their therapist or something, but that's not the case at all. We're normal people at the end of the day who like to play games or create music or host podcasts and broadcast it for a live audience. And we're all just everyone has their own unique stories to share, and I think with streaming it kind of gives me a chance to share mine and also um, uh, I guess like enjoy the other stories that are out there too. And you know, it's like one thing to like build your network and do networking, but it's another thing to actually like listen to people and hear their stories and get to like know people as people. So
Yeah, I think
that's
there's
something that I
one
really
thing
enjoy.
to view like to use PAX as an example. Like it's one thing to
Yeah.
meet people that I saw as like these poster persons for like Twitch and stuff, and
Yeah.
get that like really authentic. Just like no, they're just like regular folks drinking
Yeah.
beers.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like there was a time where around the charity thing, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital invited me to their campus. It was like 2019. They call it like their St. Jude Play Live Summit, and they invite creators and industry leaders, right? So some of the creators they invited, I, you know, had looked up to for a long time. And like I had dabbled in some like Toontown real life gathering things, but I think this was like the first event where it was like a bunch of creators and like I didn't really that well know a lot of people there. So imposter syndrome definitely hit me hard. But also like I was met with a bunch of like support and had great conversations. There was a creator Dr. Lupo, who is on YouTube now, but at the time he was on Twitch. He has millions of followers. Go check him out. He's awesome. But he and his wife, they were both there. And you know, internally you're like, oh my gosh, this person is here, like standing right in front of me. But at the end of the day, like you realize, hey, they're just a normal person just like me, even with set amount of following, celebrities or whatever, they're normal people just like us, that whole thing. Yeah, so I don't know, I've definitely like had my fair share of like, oh my gosh, this person is really cool and I want to say hi to them. And then you realize like, yeah, they're just like, they're, we have things in common, like, even though I'm just like this college kid or whatever, like, we can find some common ground there, even though like, because a lot of people put content creators on like a pedestal and stuff, idolizing other creators, idolizing things like Twitch partnership, Twitch ambassadorship. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that like we're all, on the same team. We're all the same people, like I don't know if any of this is making sense.
I know it is. Right, so I've got just a couple more sort of things to probe this a little bit, right? The first one is going to be
Yeah.
whimsical, and I want you to try and boil it down to a yes or no answer. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think that sort of youngsters, and I'm saying youngsters in sort of parentheses, sorry, quotation marks,
Yes. Got it.
who are like, I want my career to be content creator, like, should sort of definitely try and pursue it?
That is a good question. Because I mean, this is something I've thought about, especially recently. Because having just come out of school, I know you wanted a yes or no answer, but
It's in part a joke.
having having just come out of college, I've kind of been like, well, do I job hunt? Do I dabble in content creation a little more consistently for a little bit? And I mean, if you really do have the passion and the fire for it, definitely it's kind of like, yeah, go for it, but also like check yourself, like keep yourself in moderation. Like you don't want to first of all burn yourself out, because I've done that. That's one. Two, you don't want to like, I don't know, say you have a job and you quit it for streaming or something like that. And then because I think the roommate I mentioned earlier, at one point he did stream full-time for a while. He considered himself a full-time streamer. And then he backtracked because he had to get a job at the time, because he needed to like pay bills. You got to do these things.
That's adulting,
um
yeah.
Adult, that's something I'm getting into now. But yeah, I mean, another thing that's idolized a lot is full-time streaming. So I'm not, it's not the thing that like it can't be done. There are people younger than me, I know, who have way larger audiences than me, who can make a living off of this. And like, that's awesome. That's great. That's not something I can guarantee for every single youngster, if we want to put it in that context. That's not something I can guarantee. So, I would, it's totally fine to like give it a shot, to dabble in it for a while, but I wouldn't make it, I don't know, like I see myself streaming for many years to come, but also like it's not something that like in a way is like my entire life, like I'm very like multifaceted. I was doing all these things in school. I did multiple things. Got a communications degree, but I was also singing in a choir and doing music things, and music was a part of my life and still is. And that's a whole nother facet of me that I enjoy doing. So if you're going to try to focus on streaming more consistently, you know, which is something that I'm even experimenting with right now. Definitely, it's totally fine to give it a shot. Totally fine to like, go after it. It's something I'm passionate about. I've been passionate about it for a decade. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't passionate about what I do. But it's just important to like not make it your entire life. It's important to like make sure that you find other things that make you happy as well. Not saying like discard streaming. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, go after streaming if it is something you want to try. Just, it's kind of like me getting my degree. Like make sure you have something to like, fall back on if, I guess it doesn't work out, or If your passion for it burns out, like I've come close to my passion burning out for streaming over the past 10 years at times. But I don't know, they're just you know, because like one of my friends recently was like, yeah, I'm like 3/4 time streamer, like 3/4 time streamer, not like full time, because they do other stuff on the side. And I'm like, I kind of appreciate that actually. Because you're not making it your entire life. You might focus on it primarily, but you're also focusing on other stuff that makes you happy too. And I think, if streaming is a big component of what ultimately fills that jar and makes you happy, then like, absolutely go for it. Streaming has made me happy. Obviously, I mentioned burnout and stuff, and I've struggled, but ultimately streaming makes me happy. That's why I'm starting to be more consistent right now, and I'm starting to make the moves that I can and go after more opportunities that I can for sure. So I don't know. I guess that's just my 2 cents on that. I definitely advocate for younger creators to pop out and give it a shot, but I definitely don't want to like see people make it, the end all be all kind of thing. Because for my entire streaming career, I've made, it was always streaming and something. So like right now, I can't do streaming and school. So maybe I'll find something that fills the second half of that, the streaming and playing. I'll figure out what that is. But yeah,
I mean that
that's
was
that.
remarkably brilliant and candid advice. I kind of asked that
Thank you.
like because of you get this whole media kind of thing of like all kids want to do is be in the TikToks kind of business. But back in my day, when I was a bit
Right.
younger and like in school, it was like everyone wanted to be. Everyone's always wanted to be the most popular thing, right? Whether it was a football
Sure.
player or a singer or a movie star, or like you started to hear of people who were like, I want to make the next big game. Sort of when I was sort of a bit younger. So I think it's just
Yep.
a synthesis of we want what is considered popular, right? Like, and putting that emphasis on what makes you happy, I think is really important. So you answered that question
Yeah.
way better than I thought
Yeah.
you could.
It's like all the views, all the revenue, all the popularity is at the end of the day going to be, those are all byproducts of, your passion, your happiness for what you put into your craft, I think.
And I think that segues very nicely into segues into my next question very nicely because you talked a little bit about burnout, you talked a little about some of the challenges. What is it that kind of keeps you fueled to keep going? It's I think it's I have so I didn't have as much respect for content creators until I started doing it, and I would advise more people to
Yeah,
try it to have that appreciation for the amount of work that goes in it that you don't see.
absolutely.
Um,
Right.
and like I honestly, I would maybe like to try it for like a month, but I don't think I could actually be a content creator full time. I don't think I have the skill set. That's just me being legitimately honest.
And that's okay.
Because I just don't think I possess the relevant skills. So what is it
Hmm.
that sort of what's that fuel that sort of keeps you going and keeps you moving in the space?
It's going to be very cheesy, but the community, I mean, for real though, like, I mean, if it isn't for the people that I've met through, through content creation, like, I mean, through streaming, through playing a game like Toontown of all things, like if it wasn't for the people, like, I mean, my passion would probably be long gone at this point. I'd be like, what's the point? I mean, um, it's kind of like going through your college classes and being like, what's the point of getting my degree? Especially for someone like me who didn't immediately get a job after college and is like focusing more on streaming right now. You start to ask yourself, what's the point of this degree? But when I think about like the experiences I had, the people that I met, that's the answer right there. I mean, it's very cheesy, it's very cliche, but it's true. um it's I mean, if getting to go meet other creators at like industry events, like PAX, and like getting those opportunities, like for me it's never about, oh hey, you get a little press badge, a little fancy content creator, that's so cool, wow, you don't have to pay for it. It's like, again, that's all byproduct of the experiences I get to have that ultimately continue to fill up my tank and you know ignite my passion for what it is that I do. So I mean, yeah, I mean, for example, like again, I moved to Las Vegas last month. I have people who are very kind enough to take me in that I've known from the Twitch space for a long time. And I mean, I can honestly say that like Twitch has changed my life for the better. YouTube has changed my life for the better. Like all these different platforms, all these that encompass my content creation experience over the past decade. It has changed my life for the better. Obviously, again, there have been lows, but if I'm looking at the grand scheme of things, like, um, I mean, I just feel like very fulfilled that like, you know, my life has allowed me to meet the people that I met and will eventually allow me to meet more people that I will eventually meet. Um, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. As cheesy as it might seem on the outside, like when I really think about it, it's like, I mean, these are the people that are like friends for life. They get it. They know what they understand what struggles I'm going through. We can talk about these things. Um, and I think ultimately through those conversations, I've been able to do things like panels more, especially this past year than I ever had before, to like sit down and like, because I tend to like listen a lot. I tend to observe a lot, but I think because of the conversations I've had with people, when I do have something to say, it's thought out and it can be contributory to the conversation. I know that like what I do, what I do has value. I can bring something to the table, no matter how weird it is to call myself a Toontown streamer, as I have been for the past 10 years up until starting to call myself a variety streamer. But that also just kind of, I don't know, makes me stand out, makes me recognize my worth and my value as well. So yeah,
It's really funny
and
that
that's
you
where the
say
train
that.
stops.
It's really funny you say that because like legitimately like the answer to that question is the same thing I would say about my PhD at this point, and it's like it's the
Yeah,
connections that I've made with peers, with professionals that like
yeah,
make the hours on hours of writing kind of worth it. But it's funny like you mentioned badges specifically that kind of resonated with me because I legitimately kept looking at my PAX badge and sort of like taking nourishment from it because it just felt
yeah,
like the most unreal thing in the world to me. Like
yeah. I mean,
you've used the buzzword imposter syndrome. I have no idea. I cannot explain to anyone rationally why I was allowed to stand on stage in front of a couple hundred people and try and be funny and then ask more intelligent people than me questions. I don't know why that was allowed to happen. You were one of those people I was asking questions of on stage. That blows
yeah.
my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be in your shoes soon. So I've started dabbling in panel moderation as well. So uh very, very excited for that.
I don't know if I was hoodwinked, but I was told like, oh, moderation. Like, if you're not feeling like super comfy, like moderation's a great place to start. Like, have like
Yeah,
20 extra questions. Would be my advice. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, in case things just kind of get back to square one, you're like, all right, next question.
because I was like, I've written enough down. This'll just carry itself. And then like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
no, that was quite a definitive answer.
yeah. And suddenly you're writing down like five more questions that come to your mind. So yeah, no, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that though.
No, it's great, and I think so. Again, for timey wimey reasons, we're recording
Yep,
this prior to PAX West, which
correct.
is early September. So it'll be
Yep.
just before this episode comes out. But how did you find PAX West? No, I'm joking. How when you listen to this back, what are your expectations for how well it's going to go?
Ooh. And then I'm gonna watch this back and be like, ha, that was funny. No, yeah, I don't know, because this is my second PAX West that I've gone to. My first one was last year, PAX West 2021. And all the feedback I heard from PAX West 2021 while being there was like, wow, I mean, obviously pandemic, right? So wow, this is very like low key. There's not a lot of big names here. it feels kind of quiet, right? And I got all of that, so I walked away with it actually as like, all right, this gives me something to look forward to next time I come back. So now that I'm actually going back, and there are some big names on the exhibitor list like Nintendo and Sega and Devolver Digital and all these amazing companies. It's like, I do have a little bit of a heightened expectation, but I tend to not take too many expectations into things. Like if it is low key and quiet, cool, I can find a way to make that work. If it is super packed and super busy, cool, I can find a way to make that work too. That means there's just always something to do. um, I'm very excited for PAX West in particular because I get to be moderating a panel all about charity streaming, which is something that like is an important topic to me, as someone who has been charity streaming um, since consistently since 2018. I did do my first charity stream in 2014 on YouTube, again before it was cool and took off and creators raised tens of millions of dollars for different charities over the years. But yeah, I definitely am looking forward to moderating that with an amazing group of panelists that have so much insight into the topic. It's also it'll be revealed soon. And this comes out after PAX, but our panel is a PAX Together pick, which is part of the
Nice.
like because the panel we did at PAX East was a PAX Together pick.
Yeah.
And our panel on Charity Stream is also going to be a PAX Together pick. And that just basically, for those who don't know, it just basically means like your panel
It means
or
we're
booth
special and the
or
best. That's what it
game.
means,
It
Michael.
means you're special and the best. And it means that you celebrate and uplift, like, you know, I would say like marginalized identities within gaming. Like you provide representation to like certain communities and things like that. You know, diversity, all these important topics. And they PAX select handpicks different panels and organizations and games to like be a part of that initiative at every show. So uh, I'm glad that PAX selected us for that. So they'll probably do additional marketing for that, which is really cool.
I mean,
Um,
I don't want to
but
flex, but all of my East contributions were PAX Together picks. I'm quite proud to say.
hey, okay, there you go, there you
Seeing
go.
my own stuff on those banners filled my heart with an extra level of like equality, diversity, inclusion, joy. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always make a constant effort to make sure like I'm uplifting voices both within my own identities, like the LGBTQIA plus community, as well as identities that go beyond me, like people of color. Like I have a lot of friends who are people of color, and they deserve a seat at the table just as much as I deserve a seat at the table, that you deserve a seat at the table. So that is a topic that I do get passionate about, as well, which is why it makes being a PAX Together pick all the more sweeter. Just being able to like say like, yeah, we are like, like for example, we're going to talk about many different causes potentially that encompass and support so many different topics. So it's, that's another reason why I said like, hey, this would be a good pick for PAX Together picks. And PAX was like, yeah, let's do it. So that was really cool. So yeah, but overall for PAX West, I'm just very excited again to be back in the city of Seattle. I really enjoyed it when I was there last year. Even though the show, people kept saying it was like quiet and stuff, I really enjoyed it. It was my first time in Seattle, so I really enjoyed getting to like walk around, explore the city, explore the life a little bit. It's a city I look forward to being back in again for Labor Day weekend for PAX West. So I certainly just hope I get to meet all kinds of people. I have lots of friends that I've met before that are going, but I also hope I get to take the opportunity to meet new faces and strike conversations with people I know nothing about. So then we get to like connect, and not just for the sake of like networking or whatever, but I just want to like get to know people. So I don't know. That's just a me thing though.
no,
So
no, it's cool.
well,
I mean,
a lot to look forward to for PAX, I think.
I am like low key. I'm putting it out into the ether to help manifest it. But like hoping to go PAX East and West next year. That is like on the manifestation
Yeah.
wish list. So
Yeah.
that's on the hopes there because PAX East was just And again, like similar to yourself, people are like, yeah, it was pretty chill, and I was like, I find it very overstimulating for all my senses.
Sure. I mean, yeah, like there are people who go to these events where some people might find it chill. For others, it's a lot. I mean, even at PAX West 2021, there are thousands of people walking around, giant booths from these exhibitors. Like Bandai Namco was showing off a game they had already released, Tales of Arise, and they had a pretty massive booth for that. That garnered a lot of attention, and then you just have this surrounding city. Seattle's a pretty bustling area, so I mean, going to events like this can be overstimulating for people, and that is important to recognize. So it's important to have spaces like at PAX. They have the AFK room from Take
Take
This. I
this.
think they
Yep.
Take This, yeah. So they, it's important to have those dedicated spaces because for some people, these events can be a lot and it can be anxiety inducing, and it can make you question why you even went to the event in the first place and you didn't just stay home in your little comfort bubble. But yeah, I don't know, it is important to have those spaces though. So
Great opportunity to shout out our friends of the show over at Take This. Big
yes,
big
that's
respect to
right.
those people, several of whom you can catch on this podcast. A little bit of shameless self promotion there.
Yes.
So we talked a lot then, and I think this almost like falls into that set of cliche questions you ask a streamer. But what do you do when you're not working, quote unquote? Because I feel like a lot of people go,
Sure.
well, if you're playing games for work all day, the last thing you do when you press the stop streaming button is boot up another game.
Right, sometimes you do, but
Sometimes you
other
do.
times you don't. Well, for me, I'm kind of in this situation where I'm still kind of figuring my life out because I just moved last month. So that kind of does factor into my answer a little bit. But there have been a few times already where like I've gone out to like the strip just to like see the area, the Las Vegas Strip, the entertainment capital of the world, to like just walk around, see the sights, see some of the crazy things that they have on the strip, and the
Is it
overpriced
like as
food.
wild as like television and folklore have made Brits believe it is?
Um, I mean, having been here for only a month, I've already seen when I'm not on the strip some wild moments, but when I am out in the city, there certainly is a lot to do and there is a lot going on. I remember I was in downtown on like Fremont Street where like Circa is, and there's like a lot of people dancing to a band that's playing on stage, and you got like people trying to sell stuff over here, and I don't know. So I don't know. I just think like especially now because like it's summertime and then like we're gonna soon get into the holidays, which is also gonna bring a lot more people here. Um, yeah, Vegas definitely is hustling and bustling. That is absolutely true. But yeah, so in terms of what I do outside streaming, again, other than just like maybe playing a game with my friends or something like that, um, if I can travel to an event, I will. Like PAX, like TwitchCon, things like that. But locally, I don't know. I've walked around some of the casinos a little bit to just check that out because there's a lot of food options I've learned. I mean, there's just all the cuisines you could imagine in Las Vegas, which probably is why it's such a popular international destination, at least a part of it too. Um, there's just so many fancy sites. Like you have the water show at the Bellagio, and you have all the circuses, and you have like a little fire show at the Mirage, and there's all kinds of stuff to do here to see, and it's really cool. So anytime I get to go out with my friends or something like that, I absolutely take the opportunity to do that because after I graduated and I was living with my dad for a little bit, like I just kind of sat there in my room and didn't do much, and mental health was kind of crash and burn. But
Mm.
now I'm like actually in a place where I can like walk to get food. I can actually like go, see a movie or a show, or just like watch a friend, like I don't know, gamble a little bit if they want to, if they want to indulge in that. Just like just enjoy the company of like the people around me.
I do feel like
So I do
Vegas
enjoy.
is one of the few places you could go and just people watch and that be extra entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, there's always someone doing something. So whether it's like getting a big one on a slot machine or just doing a performance out on the street, yeah, it's very fascinating to me. It's very cool. As someone who just moved here, I certainly enjoy it. Obviously, it is very very hot here, so I don't go out all the time. I do like staying in the air conditioned space that I have here. Um, but yeah, and then yeah, that really is that kind of encompasses what I do outside of streaming. Although there, I'm always like doing something as well with streaming. Maybe planning my next like YouTube video, maybe sending a bunch of emails for PAX or for TwitchCon or whatever. Doing business behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really recognize. Which is just kind of how it goes with content creation. But then there's also like the you know company of my friends and the people that live here that I'm slowly but surely starting to meet. And it's just it's very nice all around. I'm sure I could go on a tangent about that too, but I'll save us on time here.
Fair, fair. Have you sort of played anything good recently, or watched anything good recently that you can think to name?
um let's see, just like shows and stuff like that.
Anything
I don't
that's
know.
taken your interest?
uh I don't really watch too much TV, probably because I'm a gamer, but I I don't know. I mean, the whole like Fortnite Dragon Ball Z collaboration has been the talk of the house lately
So
with
what?
Goku being in
Because
Fortnite.
Fortnite, I put my hands up. It's one of those things that I just know is not for me, so I've just never played it. Just
I mean, I haven't played it in so long, but it's brought a lot of people back into the game, this particular collaboration, which is so interesting. So yeah, it's been interesting to see how Fortnite has changed since I last played it. But it's
how have they Dragon Ball Z'd it? Because I know a lot about Dragon Ball Z, and I know enough
yeah,
about Fortnite. So how?
they brought in skins for Son Goku and a few other characters, Vegeta, Beerus, and Bulma. So you can like play as those characters as well as get a bunch of cosmetics. Um, this feels like a hashtag sponsored segment, honestly. Just being like, all right, here's what you can get.
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and then they have like I think right now you can even like watch Dragon Ball episodes within Fortnite as part of their like creative like mode. I obviously can't do that on stream, I don't think, but there's like they have like little areas where you can like do that and it's pretty interesting. So they really went all out with this collaboration. Which and Fortnite, I'm always an observer with Fortnite and like they always go all in with some of their like concert events and things like that. Even though I don't play it religiously or anything, I think it's just really cool like how much it just like opens the door for people to get introduced into gaming, into things like content creation when they watch their favorite content creator reacting to these kinds of events. um I don't know, very off topic, but with content creation, when I think of stuff like that, it's kind of like how crucial like content creation is to the game development process because like you got to get your game out there, right? And I'm not just saying this just because I have the Game Developers Conference hat on because I went to GDC, but you kind of realize how important your role is as a content creator and how like you know um it's more valuable than like you think. I think I won't name names, but someone reached out to me recently and just dropped me a Steam code for their game because like they were because they're like, hey, we would love for you to like play our game and like check it out, so it's pretty interesting how like how important content creation is to the game development process. And like I think that's something that slowly more and more people are starting to recognize, especially as content creation continues to grow.
So it's funny you point that out as well because I'm kind of like games industry adjacent with sort of like psychology, but like with looking at games specifically.
Yep.
And we're trying
Yep.
to diplomatically, we're trying to improve relations between the industry and ourselves. We've given ourselves a bad
Yeah.
rap. Different tangent. Um, but like,
Fair enough.
but like, the kind of joke in the game studies community is that the trifecta you want to hit is a Games for Change, a PAX, and GDC. I've got two of those, so GDC's on the hit list.
Yep.
And it's trying to be like,
There you go.
yes, my value as an academic in games. And my go-to joke
Yeah.
to tie us back to Fortnite is I always joke, do you want to know why Fortnite's so good? Because they had a psychologist, Dr. Celia Hoden, help make it so good. That's why. She did the usability for it.
There you go.
That's why it's so good.
I love it.
And I
I love
actually,
it. That's
I
awesome.
did a talk recently that was to like sort of like school age people talking about like cyber psychology. But I was talking about my field
Hmm.
games, and I dropped that in. I was like, "You're no Fortnite, right?" And they all sort of like their ears all picked up. And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
psychologist helped make it good, mate. That's how. That's how." And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's truth. Truth."
There you go. I
I
love
feel
that.
like
That's awesome.
obviously again timey-wimey reasons, but like Cult of the Lamb is like the hot game at the moment. Everyone is playing
I
that.
did, yep. I did get a review code to stream it early, but like the day before it came out, from Devolver, and it was so much fun using the little Twitch integration. That's like it is game changing in the sense that like, yeah, this is a game that only I can play like single player, but it's so interactive to the point where like, it feels like my audience is a part of the experience. So it is a really good game. I've heard lots of good things about it from other creators as well. Highly recommend it if you're looking for a game to stream.
Do you think like that is like the next evolution of like games? Like having games that are like
I don't
specifically
know.
designed to have like Twitch integrations? Like this is literally an idea that I've had like just
Yeah,
now. This is off script, but you just
yeah,
kind of made me
yeah.
go like,
No,
I wouldn't because
maybe.
everyone's heard of Jackbox, right? Like everyone was playing that particularly through the
Yeah,
pandemic, but like
I love Jackbox games.
maybe is that maybe a future direction that we'll see games go? Because I mean, you've seen games like games with choices in. I love like a bit of narrative drama, like Life is Strange,
Yeah,
and
I
The
love Life
Quarry,
is Strange.
things like that.
The Query. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if maybe it's a possible avenue. I mean, it's certainly not like the one and only like possible direction the industry could go, but it certainly is a viable option. I think it'd be interesting to see more games integrate things like Twitch and YouTube streams into some kind of live interaction component for creators to like, engage with their communities. And that way it's not just like a single player game. It's, everyone's involved. It's kind of like that, how like Twitch plays Pokemon was so revolutionary back in the day, where you would put in a command in chat and it would interact with the game. It's kind of like that in a sense. And I think that has essentially revolutionized the whole new genre of streaming and gaming. And I think with a game like Cold Dilemma, it kind of brings that back to the table. Like, is this something that could be, you know, part of the future of gaming? And I think it could definitely be a part of it, at least from my perspective.
The only two things that I remember about Twitch plays Pokemon was that it started and I went, "That's ridiculous," and then like years later, it was like they actually finished it, and I was like, "No," and like they're like, "Yeah, they did."
Yeah,
Wild.
I remember when Twitch Plays Pokemon started out, and I dabbled in it a little bit on their first playthrough, and uh, yeah, that was just one of the most fun times ever. Just like religiously watching that channel, and just seeing how Twitch revolutionized as a platform in that sense because of it. So yeah, hopefully there will be more Twitch plays in the future. I'd certainly love to host something like that on my streams in the future because that's awesome. I love it so much.
So we sort of get towards the sort of winding down element of the podcast where everyone
Yeah.
can get themselves a cup of cocoa and prepare themselves for a nice, comfy sort of knees up at the end. But one of the sort of questions I like to ask is if you had like no limitations, so you had unlimited access to resources, people, time, skills, is there like a project or a thing that you would like to do? Like truly the biggest blue sky answer that you can think of.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm gonna formulate this now. I mean, things I think of I'm passionate about are streaming and charity streaming in particular. If there's some kind of massive project I could work on in the future that like I'd be able to fundraise for a or multiple like causes, doing something massive. I mean, certainly I'm broadening my scope with streaming now, not exclusively streaming Toontown, but streaming other stuff, which I think is going to help me open doors to new ideas as I continue to do it. Um, I don't know. I I mean, for me being like the blue sky recently has been like getting on these panels, which is just a whole new world that I'm enjoying. So if there's a way to do some kind of show maybe where like we're bringing people together to fundraise for said cause by doing said things. I know that's something that a lot that people have done that are like large scale, but I don't know, it'd be cool to do something like that with while also, bringing in people of all, sizes, all diversities, like,
Like
different
charity Smirky
creators.
con, a
Yeah.
big charity
J-
raising weekend in
yeah.
person and
Yeah,
live
that
on
would
Twitch.
it would be cool to do some kind of like if I were to do some kind of big blue sky thing, host some kind of convention that's like charity centric, or I don't know. That question definitely gets the gears turning though, if anything. Like
What
what
so
more could I do?
to kind of pick your brains a little bit further on that, what would like your ideal charity event look like? You could do anything, and I pose that because there's a little tidbit of information I'll drop in. The first stream I ever actually did was a charity stream. Um,
Wow.
Purely because it was during 2020. It was July.
Hmm.
That I found out I was going to be starting my PhD. So I wanted to celebrate, but obviously it was hard to like do a fun run or something. I was like, well, what can I do? I was like, I can play computer games, and that will help us raise money. So yeah, way back when,
Yeah.
helped raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support, an organisation very close to my heart, and that was a one of the funniest and wildest things I've ever done. 24-hour solid, never having streamed
Ah.
before. Like I did like a couple of tests, and it was just asking lots of people that I knew that knew how to stream. Like, how do I make sure it doesn't blow up? And like that was super fun. But like, yeah, what would your like ideal charity event kind of look like?
Well, a lot of the charity streams I've done have been on my own, like, in terms of like just me being the host of like, you know, encouraging people to donate, being the host behind the lens of the camera, like what I'm streaming. But it'd be cool to like get other people involved.
Any
It'd be cool
any
to
any
like,
names on the list you'd love to get involved? Let's manifest it. Let's make it happen.
mm, um, I mean, gosh, like, on one hand, it's like I don't exactly have to manifest it. I could like just DM these people and be like, hey, and even if they don't give it to me, like, can't say I didn't try. Because there's a lot of creators that I have interacted with very recently that are like really well-known ambassadors for said charities, or which is great. You meet a lot of creators being part of the like St. Jude family and being an ambassador for them. So I mean it'd be cool to like get a group of those folks together and either do something for St. Jude or maybe do, another cause that's close to our heart. Cause like I remember there was something in 2021 called Hand in Hand from three different creators. It was Little Seha, Bloody Faster, and Nega Oryx, and they collaborated with all three of their communities to raise so much money. I think they ended up raising like, I want to say $500,000. I want to say it was $500,000 for St. Jude. And like those are the kinds of things I think would be amazing to see more of. Cause like for a lot of what I've done being in the Toontown community, there's only so much I can do. But like as I branch out into variety streaming, there's like so many more doors that I see that I could open. And I want to bring other people on that path with me. I, you know, for the purposes of uplifting others, for the purposes of meeting others, like it would be really cool to just work with all these like other amazing creators and like, you know, just I don't know. My brain's kind of fried at like the whole idea of just like
Don't worry.
getting people together and just making cool shit happen at the end of the day, I think, right? Like just that's all it comes down to really. So
Do cool shit,
um
have fun, raise money. Easy.
I mean,
It's that simple.
yeah, I mean, and I guess I haven't really thought of like super large scale thing. What if it was like live from Las Vegas? Like I mean, Twitch has hosted events here before. You never know. Maybe someday they'll be like, let's host something here. That'd be
Why
really
not?
cool.
But like, you know what I
Why
mean?
not?
So
That
to
that that's my answer. I took way too long to get to that
no,
answer.
I
That's my
love it. The
answer.
whole point is that we think about it, we get something beautiful, and then you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
So not
Yeah.
because like I haven't hosted several of these now or ordered the questions, but that's a nice segue into, is there anyone who sort of inspires you that you'd love to give a little shout out to? You can literally name anyone. We've had people name their parents, their loved ones, their pets. But I just think it's really nice to, when we talk about what we do and sort of why we do it, to give a little shout out to
Yeah.
the people that sort of made us even think about it.
Yeah. I mean, as a young 13-year-old person just starting out with content creation, I certainly just remember watching different videos on YouTube, and that inspired me to like, hey, maybe I should start making videos. Maybe I should start like, streaming stuff like that. So, I don't know if anyone from my community is going to listen, but if those people knew who they are, then huge ups to them for like even getting my path started, for inspiring me that way. And then I'm always constantly inspired by some of the amazing work of a lot of the other Twitch partners, Twitch ambassadors, St. Jude ambassadors. Like the St. Jude family has been very tight knit. I think like we're all very supportive of each other. Whether you're just joining the fundraising efforts for them, or if you're if you've been a veteran for a long time, like I certainly just feel very connected to that group. And I'm very grateful to just know the people that I know in my network, and just like on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Like it, I don't know. I shouldn't be thinking of the analogy of like being a small fish in a big pond or whatever, but at the end of the day, like I am a small part of like something much bigger. And like, even if I am just like a small part of that, like it makes all the difference. You I don't know, throw multiple rocks into the pond to make a bigger ripple or something like
The
that.
the sum of the whole is greater than the sum
Some
of
of the
the individual
whole, yeah,
parts. Yeah, and I think that's
exactly.
that's true when you're talking about collectives, and I think particularly when we're talking about charity. I think it's really, because I think the other
Yeah,
side of that coin is that like every dollar matters. It doesn't matter the size
it
or
does.
scale of like you as a streamer, because if you raise any money, that's more money than the charity had previously, and that's a really
Absolutely.
important deal. Like,
Yeah. I've been inspired by, I mentioned Dr. Lupo before, and I mean, like, the reason I freaked out internally over him when I first met him was because, like, he's done so much work for causes like St. Jude. He's raised millions. And, like, that to me is just so admirable. And, like, um, he's still kicking it. And uh, I'm just like, really inspired by him. I know he's on YouTube and not on Twitch, and I admittedly don't watch as many YouTube streams these days, but I know that I'm still cheering him on as he, posts his newest videos and things like that. And yeah, I guess if that's one particular creator to name that I always look up to, that certainly would be one. I've definitely met him already a couple times. I met him at St. Jude, and then I met him again at PAX South in 2020 in January before the pandemic. And like we were like, hey, we're gonna see you at St. Jude again, right? He's like, I'll probably be there. And I'm like, cool. And then obviously life.
life.
So that didn't happen, but hopefully I get to see him again, because that would be cool. I know he's done a lot of great work since. And yeah, I guess that's the one person I would, say that I continue to be inspired by. There are countless others that I certainly get inspired by. But if I went through that whole list, then we'd be here for several hours, and I don't want to take up that much time. There are just so many amazing creators doing so many amazing things, and I'm always noticing it, and it inspires me to put some fuel into this amazing fire that I've created that is very, built with passion, with love. So, you know, seeing other creators like do amazing work allows me to recognize the value of my work too. So that's what I would say. And especially, the added bonus of like getting to do panels and travel to events and meet them in person. That's always like a bonus too.
Excellent. So I like to always sort of end off with a few sort of quick fire questions.
Okay.
A little concept that is definitely 100% not copyright stolen because it's not copyrighted, but concept stolen from Desert Island Discs. It's not that. Don't
All
get that
right.
confused with this. But you are going on a little retreat for a rest for an indefinite amount of time. You're going to
Okay.
take with you one film or sort of box set of films, a collection. Like if you can buy it in one package, I'll let you take it.
Ooh.
I'm a little bit chill about it. One album, one book, and one video game. What do you take?
Okay, so for the film, so growing up as a kid, I loved Pokemon. I still love Pokemon, and I actually recently, as I was moving here to Vegas, I relocated. It's like a pack of DVDs of um some of the most I guess popular slash meaningful like Pokemon anime episodes from like the first few
Oh, nice,
seasons of
nice.
the anime. And I just remember as a kid always loving to sit down and just go through each of those episodes and just really enjoy the adventures of Ash, Misty, and Brock going to all these different places, meeting all these different Pokemon. And um, I always just like love pulling out that little box of DVDs that I have. It's like Pokemon All Stars something. Like I don't know how many people have it. I don't know if I were to sell it, how much it would sell for, but I don't know. It's a little special keepsake that I have that I really enjoy. Um, then one album, I mean, I don't know. I As a kid, I liked listening to Owl City, and I just saw on Facebook, I think that Owl City's starting to make a return again, which I'm very excited about. Um, so I guess if I were to bring an album, I would bring like um one of their like past like not like Fireflies was a single, but I'm forgetting the name of the album because it's been so long since I listened to it, but I'm thinking about it. There's just so many good songs from Owl City that I would definitely bring an album from them. A book, I admittedly am not as much of an avid reader, but let's see. If I were to bring a book, as a kid, I remember reading a lot of the was it the Magic Treehouse series? I think that's what it was called. Um, I read so many of those books. Yeah, it's a book series, The Magic Treehouse. It's a children's book by Mary Pope Osborne. Um, I read those so much as a kid. I would remember just diving into all these crazy adventures, and maybe things didn't have to make sense, but that was okay because I just really enjoyed it as a kid. It'd be cool to relive my childhood and just go through all those books again. Oh gosh, and then a video game that I would bring with me. Obviously, I play a lot of video games, so I'm sure there would be so many that I would take with me. Um,
You're not like you're contractually
Gosh.
obliged to say Toontown, you know? Like
Oh my gosh.
so the way people tend to answer this question is one of two ways. They just kind of either pick like their out favorite game, or like they pick the game that they know that they will like get like hundreds of hours out of, or that has like lots of replayability. And the people tend to go down one of those routes. I've noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always find a lot of replayability out of like the Pokemon franchise, but I already answered Pokemon earlier, so I'm not going to make that my official answer. Um, I'm going to say, um, so I don't know. As a kid, again, all these just like I don't know. I guess if I go on
Nostalgia's
a retreat, it's
powerful.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Hey, I bring nostalgia to people's lives with Toontown. Okay, so I think that nostalgia for me, I deserve a little bit of
So
nostalgia too.
I was gonna try and I was saving this film, but I remember when Toontown came out. I remember those days. I remember seeing the TV advertisements for it because that was
Yep,
stuff like
I
when
remember too.
World of Warcraft was becoming popularized.
Yes,
RuneScape
yes,
was like if you couldn't afford to play
yes.
WoW, you played that. You know,
Yep,
Toontown was there as well. Like it was way
yep.
back when.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I would say, um, it was on the tip of my tongue actually, and then I forgot, but that's okay. It was it's fine. Um, it was Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh,
I do enjoy me some good Mario Kart, and I never actually owned a GameCube growing up, but I went to this kid's haircut place and they had a GameCube. So I would always play games like Luigi's Mansion and Mario Kart, and I'd have no idea what I was doing, but I would just have a blast just playing it while growing up. So I don't actually own a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash, but I would like to get one, maybe get my own GameCube and then check it out, or get a Wii so I can put the GameCube thing in it. Um,
What,
I did
consoles
one of
with
my
previous generation compatibility? That's not a
yeah,
thing.
backward compatibility.
What?
Not anymore, right? um, yeah, I have a Japanese GameCube copy of Luigi's Mansion because there's a speedrunner by the name of Fire Dragon who's also a Twitch ambassador who's a really good friend of mine, and I ended up winning one of his like giveaways somehow. Totally not rigged, but he gave me a signed copy of it. So I don't know if I'll ever open it up, but I have it right here. So if I ever if it's on the wall. So if I ever get a GameCube, then maybe I'll give it a shot. We'll see. I probably won't beat his record or anything. I would take the longest amount of time to get through it. Speedrunning is definitely an art of its own. But yeah, I don't know. I guess those would be all my answers. It would be a very nostalgic retreat.
That's the whole point. You're going away for some rest, relaxation, chilling out. I do have to ask because
Yeah.
it's come up on the podcast before, and I got a bit of grief for it, to be fair. But what is your preferred
Mm.
starter type? Do you go by type? Do you just go by out of the three? What's your thought process?
Ooh, goodness. Certainly wow, yeah. Thinking about it, I've definitely hopped around different stars in the past. Like, I know I got like Turtwig, and then I've gotten I don't know, because I started playing Pokemon around Gen 3. So I think I was all about either Trico or Torchic. So I don't know. I remember like just whichever one looks cool, I guess. I don't know. I've hopped around the three different starters. Uh I don't know. Sometimes there's one that like speaks to me. Like I don't know what it is about Quaxley in Scarlet and Violet that's coming out. That hair, just like oh man, and it's the duck. I mean, I can't
if
say no to the duck.
if Quackley
I
doesn't evolve into like a water duck Elvis, I'm gonna be really sad.
oh my gosh, that would be so funny. And hey, I mean, I don't know. It would be cool to see something like that. I know Pokemon's gonna be at PAX. They're on the exhibitor list. I don't know if it's just for trading card game. Obviously, by the time this comes out, we'll already
Well,
know.
no.
But we'll know. But yeah, it'd be cool to like see what the evolutions are because I think that'll help factor in my decision. I don't always stick to one type. I do hop around the different types. So whichever one speaks to me at that time,
That's fair. Okay, and then
which right now it is the adorable Quaxley.
last one
So
on this: Scarlet or Violet?
yeah. Yeah. So okay. So when it comes to choosing versions, I do have a twin sister, and we would always get like the same Pokemon games together. So it would be like you get one version, I get the other version, and we're able
Nice.
to like trade and stuff. But I don't think that really applies here anymore. I am trying to see what my roommates want. I think the consensus is Scarlet. Part of me kind of wants Scarlet though, even though like the trend has me going towards Violet. And obviously I do stream on Twitch. I do like the color purple, but I really like the legendary and Scarlet. So I don't know yet. I'm still a little torn, but both games look great, and I'm sure that whatever I choose is going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll
Nice.
get both. You never know. They do have those mega bundles, so best
They
of both worlds.
exist. They exist.
They do.
Okay, so I always like to turn the tables and say, do you have any questions for me? I have been asked the Desert Island one, I think, a couple of times now. I think like once a season it seems to crop up. But
Mhm.
anything that has come to mind that you want to ask me, feel free.
Okay. Do you remember a lot about like the species in Toontown? Like which like species you can create? Because if so, I want to know like which one you would create.
I
I know
honestly,
that's a weird question.
no, honestly, I don't remember much, but I think like
Okay.
because
I'll mhm.
oh, I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I remember like it being advertised. I mean, like one of those, oh, I'll look
Yeah.
at this, and then just never doing it because I was a child and had no attention span.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. Here, I'll briefly, I'll go through the list of species you can select
Let's do it.
in the Toontown Rewritten server, the main Toontown private server, and you can tell me which one speaks most to you. We have dog, cat, rabbit, duck, horse, mouse, monkey, bear, pig, crocodile, and deer.
I
Do
feel like
any of those
I'd have to
speak
go
to you?
monkey for the fact that my Twitch username is Chimp195.
Ah, okay. I respect that. I respect
I've
that.
always had like a love for like monkeys and like I know chimps, monkeys, and
Yeah.
gorillas are technically different things. I had a mate who's a zoologist. They get very
Yes,
iffy
yes,
about
yes.
that. I've
Yes.
always loved that. Like if I could be an animal, I would be a long tail macaque. Purely so I could use my
Okay.
tail as like an extra hand, like hanging around on by my tail and holding fruit in both hands. It sounds like a dream.
Nice. I love it. That's cool. I'd say we need more monkeys in Toontown. The majority of Toontown players are team dog or team cat. So I'd say we need more monkeys. So I highly respect that answer.
Yeah, it's both on
That's
brand
all
but
I got.
also like legit. Like yeah, that makes sense to me.
I love
Well,
it.
this has been absolutely fantastic, Michael. I appreciate your time. Um, can you please just let us know where the best place to find you is, and then all those links will be attached to wherever you found the episode.
Of course, of course. It's been really fun being on this podcast. Thanks for having me. If you guys want to find me on any socials on Twitch, I have acquired the name Smirky, Smirky. On every other platform, it's been taken in some way, shape, or form that I have to add an underscore here or an extra word. So on Twitter, it's at underscore Smirky. And then Instagram is at I'm Smirky, like I am Smirky. It's a struggle with these handles, but yeah, YouTube, you should be able to just type Smirky because my YouTube channel, just like my Twitch channel, is verified. So if you see the check mark next to Smirky, you'll find it. I think it's technically called Smirky Live, but if you type Smirky, you'll find it. I'm just starting videos back up on there, which is fun. Um, yeah, pretty much if you just type Smirky, you'll find me one way or another, and then you'll find the rest of my socials. So, but I do mainly stream on Twitch. I'm kind of experimenting with a weekly schedule right now, and I don't have like a set start time. I tend to be streaming in the evenings, but I am toying with some midday start times as well. But if you follow me on Twitter, Discord, things like that, you should be able to see when I'm live. If you ever want to stop by, see if we're playing Toontown or maybe some other kind of game. Uh, we're always doing something, and no matter how many people we have in chat, we're always having a good time. So you know, you can find me around, and I'll certainly be at events. I like going to events like PAX and TwitchCon, and hopefully by the time this little podcast episode comes out, it will have already been announced that I'm doing a charity streaming panel at TwitchCon in addition to PAX West. So I am just very, very excited for everything I'm doing. So if you're going to either of those events, I'll be there. Um, yeah, but that's where you can find me. Just type Smirky, you'll find me if you're interested. But yes, thank you, Chris, for having me on this podcast. This was really fun getting to spend almost 2 hours talking to you. I know this went a lot longer than I think either of us could have imagined, but it
there
was an
was
absolute
there was
blast.
a lot of wisdom and knowledge to be shared, garnered, and I'm sure everyone that listens to it will enjoy that as well. So, yeah, Michael, thank you
I
so
hope so.
much. All that remains for me to do is to for our visual engaged viewers, and I was going to say listeners, to flick over to the ending screen. But otherwise, we will say goodbye. Take it easy, as ever. Look after your mind, body, and soul, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Later.